There are some genres that I can only call timeless. The classic first-person shooter, the role-playing game, and of course, the genre that redefined a generation of games, the platformer. In recent years, the platformer has seen a lot of unique twists to leave their mark on the style of game that led these folks to make games to begin with. Following with the trend, Slack Games have overhauled their 2012 Mechanic Escape with updated visuals and have released their fast-paced Death Fest onto Steam. Taking influences from new and old, Mechanic Escape comes together to make something seriously fun with a ton of heart. Kicking off the awesome design choices, the game is colorful as can be. It's become commonplace in the genre to have awesome visual design, but Mechanic Escape is relentless with its beautiful aesthetics. The main character models, the enemies, and the stages drip with bright, colorful detail. While almost all collectibles seem to be the same color, it helps to distinguish them from the rest of the level quickly, which becomes increasingly necessary as the game progresses through each of its themed worlds. While these themes are almost all motifs that you've seen before, areas like Robot Hell stand out as both distinct and original. The music will almost never get old, and I find myself humming the main menu theme while performing everyday activities, leading inevitably back to me playing more Mechanic Escape. It's a really fun and upbeat soundtrack with just enough emotion conveyed in the tone to keep you on edge while performing the extremely difficult precision platforming. Themes aren't exactly plentiful, but I can't recall a single instance where the music was anything but pleasant and it never got repetitive. The difficulty curve is not steady, however, with some levels in the midpoint of each world being significantly more demanding than the final levels in each of their respective areas. It's not necessarily a negative aspect, but it comes off as something that could have been tweaked just a bit to avoid potential frustration, most especially in the game's second area, Electric Swamp. The level of thought put into each subsequent obstacle is almost unfathomable. Taking primary inspiration from games like Meat Boy and the most recent Rayman titles, the game expects a good amount of skill from players, but never lets you get lost in its labyrinthian level design. The game only has a surface-level plot to establish reasoning in its own world for the otherwise nonsensical platforming, and while it's incredibly minimal, it's mostly just an excuse to write a fun little plot around the stellar gameplay. Replaying the game will be driven by the love for thought put into level design, and the whimsical style mesh perfectly with complex gameplay maneuvers. Mechanic Escape isn't doing anything to reinvent the genre, but that's not the game's goal. It sets out to play off the ideas that inspired its creation and polishing them until it can be the best it can. While sporting the occasional unreal expectation for the sake of difficulty, it never goes out of its way to punish you, and almost impossibly delivers one of the best deals in the genre. With incredible amounts of heart and a very modest price tag, Mechanic Escape sets a nice standard for indies looking to compete with the names who built the genre. Delivering insanely satisfying platforming challenges crafted with a lot of love and care, Mechanic Escape gets my highest possible score of 10 out of 10.